Sisters and brothers, my name is Drew Shelley. I'm one of the pastors here at Murfreesboro First United Methodist Church. I am so excited to announce that we are almost ready to reopen the church facility. Our reopening task force, our trustees, and our council of stewards have approved a careful reopening for August the 9th, Sunday, August the 9th. I recognize this has been a long time in coming. I also recognize cases of COVID-19 are just as high now as they have been since February, but our focus has shifted a bit. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, so we are now focusing on how to reopen the facility in the most careful way possible. We can't eliminate all risk, but we can minimize risk as much as we can. Our team has pored over guidelines from the CDC, from the Bishop and Cabinet, from state and local governments, and we've listened carefully to the wisdom of several of our own local medical professionals. We've talked with other pastors and churches and paid attention to those who have made mistakes along the way, trying to learn from them. I want you to know how much your staff and lay leadership appreciates the trust you place in us to do this carefully and thoughtfully. It is a trust that we do not take lightly. On August the 9th, we will have one family-friendly worship service in the sanctuary at 10 a.m. Nursery won't open for a few more weeks, and we'll think about Sunday school after we see how this soft reopening goes. It'll be good to gather together again on August the 9th, even though it will look a little different. We do have some important expectations of each other, simple ways that we can love and care for one another. We do expect you to wear a mask while you're here. We expect you to practice 6-foot social distancing. We'll take your temperature at the door to be extra careful, and we do want you to pre-register for worship so that we know we can accommodate everyone. Once we fill up the first service, we'll add another to make room for everybody. You'll be able to register online or simply by calling the church office. Now, it is important to note that things won't feel quite the same as they usually do. It'll be good, but it'll be different. We won't be able to sing together because singing has proven to be a super spreader activity. We will have lots of great music and other elements of worship designed to help us feel connected with each other and with God. The worship service will be meaningful to both traditional and modern worshipers. You will need to bring your own Bible. All the hymnals, Bibles, and paper have been removed from the sanctuary so that we don't have cross-contamination concerns. The space will be cleaned and sanitized using recommended procedures, and the bathrooms will be cleaned repeatedly while we're here. Doors will be propped open so you don't have to touch anything, and greeters and ushers will be on hand to help us navigate all of this. There will also be a temporary screen here in the sanctuary so that we can share liturgy and prayers together. Those items which normally would be in a printed bulletin will be shown on the screen. We're trying to make it as tasteful and discreet as possible. Finally, I do recognize that many of you will choose to remain at home and continue worshiping online. That is just fine. Please don't feel guilty at all. Some of you are in the highest risk categories for catching COVID-19 and/or experiencing serious complications from this virus. Further, I recognize the anxiety around venturing out for the first time, perhaps in several months. It is perfectly okay for you to remain at home for worship. We will continue to create the same top-quality online worship experience for the foreseeable future. In fact, it's probably going to get a little better and more engaging in the next few weeks. Thank you so much for your time in watching this video or reading this email. Let's remember, above all, to pray for one another and for our community as we take steps toward a new normal where we are careful with one another, loving in all our words and actions, and deeply hopeful about the future. If you have questions about procedure, I would direct you to either Fred Halfpap or Reverend Chrislyn Durham, two members of our wonderful reopening task force. If you have concerns or comments about our plan in general, please contact me directly via Patsy Cantor, our pastoral secretary. What you have to say about all this is very important to me, and I want to be sure that we get a proper chance to talk through your concerns. Our emails are listed below this video. Before I close, I want you to know, most of all, how proud I am of you. Our church building has been closed for a very long time, but our church has been wide open. You have been making a positive difference in this community in the name of Jesus for the last 4 months. You've cleared tree limbs after storms, built ramps so that people could get home, replaced air conditioners and screen doors, kept families from being evicted in the midst of all this, bought and delivered groceries to dozens of homebound folks. You filled 100 Project Transformation Camp in a Bag kits, brought all kinds of food up here for the most vulnerable people in our community. You've cooked dozens of meals for our friends at Journey Home, made at least 4,000 texts or phone calls to check on and pray with one another. You've written hundreds of cards and notes of encouragement, supported at least a dozen families through this difficult time with thousands of dollars of necessary funds, and you've continued to worship together, pray together, share life and faith together while helping people see Jesus at work in the world. You've confirmed almost 30 new Christians in the midst of this thing, and you've just been deeply engaged in the mission of God unfolding in this place in a time when it would have been much easier just to sit on the couch and wring your hands. For all that, I thank you, and I thank God for you. It is a gift to be one of your pastors, and I can't wait to be together again. I love you very much. Thank you.